Do you even understand what's happening on screen right now? Do you need a little help figuring it out? Maybe you know how it works, but just don't know the best ways to get it done. Well, let me help you by learning from my mistakes in modding. Okay, first things first. Modding starts at level 50. If you're not 50, go get 50, come back. If you are 50, welcome. We gotta start with some basics. Now, in order to get mods, you have to go through the challenges. And the challenges that you can unlock and obtain mods for correlate to a stat that set enhances specifically. Not on its secondary or its primary stats, but on its set bonus stats. We're going to go with the set bonuses first, and then we'll explain them afterwards. So your first set bonus is health, your second is defense, your third is critical damage, your fourth is critical chance, your fifth is tenacity, your sixth is offense, your seventh is potency, and your eighth is speed. Set bonuses are obtained by stacking 2 or 4 of the same type of mod within your mod loadout, meaning the symbols match in 2 to 4 of each of the slots within the mod loadout. Whether your mod is fully leveled or under leveled will also determine whether you get a half bonus or a max bonus. It is shown by a blue line or a golden line on whether you get the half bonus or the max bonus. And now, it's time for the fun part.
Because mods aren't fun.
Dude, okay, this is where
Okay, maybe I was memeing just a little bit, okay? Okay, remember those clips we had at the beginning where it was and all the colors in all 4 corners? We were watching them all dang up. We're gonna go a little more in depth with that now. Really explain what's happening and what makes a mod worth your time. Listen, you see the little dots? The dots above your mods, the little white circles, alright, just in case you don't know what a dot is. Anything that is 4 or less above a mod means it will be worthless in like 20 levels. Do not invest in that unless you must, unless you need whatever it is you're grabbing. It will bite you in the butt later, I promise. Okay, the basics of modding. The meat and potatoes of modding is the 15 level system that comes with every mod. Each level will increase the primary stat by a percentage, but every 3 levels will discover or set a point into one of your secondary stats. As you can see in the white mod, it discovers all these stats. Putting it into a random stat, you have no idea. But if you have a mod that is green, blue, purple, or orange, as shown, it will then try to redistribute the stats to something that is already existing, and it can double down on that. But if you have a lower tier mod like a green, a blue, or a purple, it will first discover the missing stat before starting to try and stack stats on top of stats. Now when it comes to mod primaries, it's a little different. Your offense, your defense, your health and protection on your square, your diamond, and your circle are all basically guaranteed, right? Health and protection is 50-50 on the circle. But they're all basically guaranteed stats. Not a roll. Kinda nice, right? They're nice, easy, straightforward mods. whereas their cousins down here, okay? The arrow being one of the most controversial mods, right? In the sense that it has speed, but it has like crit avoidance, health, protection, offense, and defense, and like strides. So if you can get a secondary speed triangle, it will really bump those other stats to a crazy amount. People are running arrows on like Galactic Legends because they don't need the speed, so they pull speed off of the arrow and just put the more stat efficient heavy hitters on there. Something that's a little less controversial is the triangle, right? Crit chance and crit damage are humongous stats in the game. If you don't have 100% crit chance, getting there's pretty important on your big damage dealers. Not everything needs crit chance, but when you are a crit character and you're not at 100, those 90s are going to feel horrible when they have crit avoidance, putting you down to like 70 or 60% instead of the 90 you see on your character. Plus, crit damage makes big boom. We like big boom. And the cross is a huge mod, right? It's highlighted tenacity and potency, but it's actually way better than that. Because unlike the triangle where it has like the indistinguishable DPS set, you can run tenacity on Malik and Nest and other heavy tanks, IG-11 and such, right? Your potency can be put on your Palpatines, your Darth Vader if you need it, you know. Just your heavy debuffers to make sure they stick. However, you can spec into the extra offense or defense. You're running like 5-0 first fives? That sacrifice is way juicier. You got more offense or defense. Heck, even the health or protection is going to really feed into whatever you're giving. It's a huge chunk down there too, just like it's a huge chunk on the circle. So you could even run health protection as a percentage on your Galactic Legend and really just beef them up. When it comes to secondary stats, it's no secret. All of us want speed. That's obvious. The hard part is the other three stats, right? I guess, forewarning, there are some characters that can work with less speed or no speed, I guess. They won't last forever. They're definitely early to mid-game units, but you can spec out a couple of tanks to just not have speed, and they'll still work. But for the most part, when you get a mod rolling, you want your secondaries to match whatever character you're adding it to. So if you want speed for your Palpatine, you probably want something along the lines of potency, protection, speed, and then a third stat of your choice. Whatever makes you happiest, right? I don't want to try and like pigeonhole you into the air quotes perfect mod for your boy, right? But a lot of modding is not only getting something with 15, 20, 25, 28 speed if you're a god, right? It's taking the mod with a decent chunk of speed and sliding it onto the most effective person, right? We have plenty of tools out there. If you don't trust yourself, you think you really don't know how to do mods, you can go out. There are tools that will auto pick mods for you, and then you just have to manually move them. You can do that stuff. But for the most part, modding isn't hard, it's just scary. And it's like a little bit of a casino, you know? If you don't get speed, is the mod still worth it? If you're early game, it is. Don't throw it away. Don't max it to 15. Keep it until you can replace the mod. There's no point in you wasting your gold early game. It's a humongous resource, especially early to mid, because you don't get the choice of being like, I don't want this unit now, because you've got to build teams for GAC. You got to build teams for territory wars and territory battles and galactic challenges and conquest. See what I mean? Not to mention, you know, ships and all that great stuff. You got a lot of catching up to do. And they've given you a couple catch-up mechanics, but they haven't done it for mods yet. So take your time on mods. Don't rush through it. You know, do a refresh every other week. You don't have to do 3 like I showed in my video. You can just do 1, but you got to make sure that you're raking in these mods at a steady, consistent rate. and that you're steadily moving through them, right? If it's one of those things where you don't want to go through the white mods right now because you're kind of poor, just let them sit in your inventory. They can stack up to like 500, right? If it gets to that point where you have 500 mods, you've been farming a lot of mods and you're not touching them. You got to figure that out, brother. But otherwise, other than rolling speed, the secondaries are all character dependent. So just take a second, look at your character stats, see what they scale off of, and that'll tell you what secondaries you really want to go for. Okay, the end game of mod management, mod slicing. Taking your puny white mods and turning them into beautiful gold mods. Taking your beautiful 5-dot gold mods and turning them into beautiful 6-dot mods, to which you then can go through the white, green, blue, purple, orange chain again. That's all it is, right? Every slice you do increases the rarity of the mod. So from white to green, green to blue, blue to purple, purple to orange. And every time you jump up that stair ladder of rarity, you get the roll that you are missing on that mod at the time, right? So if you have a green mod upgraded all of the way, it has 5 stat rolls. The 4 it discovers and then 1 extra stat, whereas the white mod only has 4 stat rolls just to discover them all, right? So getting up to gold, which already has the 4 discovered, gives you the 4 extra rolls, gives you the 4 extra rolls on your 4 discovered stats. Genius, right? The only caveat is that it takes a little bit more material to slice, where upgrading only takes credits. It's a little bit more pricey too. On top of that, when you get to 5-dot mods moving into 6-dot mods, they are quite expensive. I think it's like 200k to move a 5-dot mod to 6-dot. It's pretty expensive. A hefty chunk of change. But what you get for moving it from 5 to 6 is a base stat bump on all of your secondaries and a base stat bump on your primary. So if you have an arrow, you get extra speed. If you have speed as your secondary, you get a little extra speed there. You got health as your primary, you get a bigger chunk percentage. It's pretty big too. Same with some of your secondaries. Not all secondaries are equal when it comes to this change. If there's a percentage of like health and a percentage of crit chance, they're not going to go up by the same percentage. Remember that. Also, once you change a mod from 5-dot to 6-dot, it exiles it from all of your pleb units. Anything gear 11 and lower cannot use 6-dot mods. They have to be 7-star gear 12 minimum in order to use these powerful tools. But remember, going through your 6-dot slicing, it's recommended that you only do it on your best mods, right? The flat stat bump is pretty big. If you needed to get through something, I mean, you kind of can. It's real expensive. But any slicing past that base stat bump should be only done on something with like 18 plus speed. Really. If you're like way up there, then you should definitely be doing it on things that are 20 plus speed only. Just, you know how it is. We gotta go fast out here. Okay, our final statements on mods are that they are super important for your roster. Ridiculously important. It's not something you can entirely ignore, right? Maybe if you have a fantastic roster, in the beginning you can ignore it. You can just get 5-dot mods with like a decent 10 speed per mod or something like that, slap it onto your team, and you'll win with flying colors, right? But once you start climbing the ranks, once you start fighting those heavier guilds in territory wars, you're gonna feel it, right? You're gonna have to catch up with ships eventually. It's gonna be rough. So if you take care of it now, tend it like a garden, okay? Get your little tomato plant mods, your little rosemary bush mods, okay? Just prune them and make sure to check on them every now and then. right? They're pretty resilient, but sometimes, you know, you gotta do a little remodding. You've gotten enough good ones that came in that the bad ones you can start flushing them out. Remember, mods are like clothes, and you're poor, so mods are hand-me-downable. Don't let anybody tell you different. Right? Until you run out of characters to put mods on, they can go to the next poopiest person. Because every character is usable until you're like at like 6 or 7 million GP, and then you can't use everyone. I'm sorry. There's not enough slots in all of our game modes. Alright, hopefully this helped out. If you liked the video, let me know, I guess. Anything I could do better? Probably, like, talk, I don't know, louder, maybe? Get a better script? Who knows? Let me know. Later.